Gallatin County is currently holding public tours of the Law and Justice Center. I'll have more details on how the structural shortcomings of the building are negatively affecting those seeking victim services.
Defective turf sold in Montana. The schools never, including MSU, even knew about it. MTN is investigating that. Just ahead of 6:30 on this Thursday, Chet Lehman with you here. Missy O'Malley is off today. Matt Elwell has our forecast in just a moment. Meantime, new this morning, Gallatin County is holding public tours of the Law and Justice Center in Bozeman. MTN's Gabby Crevitt went on one of those tours of the building and has details of why the county says it is in desperate need of a new building.
Overcrowding, structurally unsound, asbestos. These are just a few of the terms county officials used to describe the state of Gallatin County's Law and Justice Center during a tour. This November, the county will ask voters to approve a $59 million bond issue to replace the building.
There's really no way to modify and remodel that building to make it work.
Victim Services is a program through the county attorney's office and is currently housed under the Law and Justice Center. The office works directly with all victims of violent crimes and is inconveniently located directly across jury meeting rooms and jury waiting areas.
We are very challenged to make sure that there's not any interactions between victims and witnesses and jurors that are in those trials.
The hallway's close quarters could result in a mistrial if the wrong people cross paths.
We've actually had to address, thankfully we haven't had any mistrials, but I definitely can say that there's been a few times where it's been very close.
The hallway not only causes logistical headaches for victim services, but also makes for an extremely uncomfortable environment for victims of violent crime. So here we have the shared hallway where jury report and wait for trial. There's a seating area right next to me and 2 jury rooms. Directly across these rooms is victim services, where visitors must check in using this intercom and share the reason they're visiting the office that day before being allowed entrance into the offices.
The victim has to describe their issue really in a public forum before they can get into the victim services to be served.
And it's just a very intimidating situation for our victims to be in.
During the tour of the Law and Justice Center, a county official pointed out the room where victims of violent crimes report on their cases, a storage closet.
We are offering tours of that building so people can get in and really see how that building functions or fails to function.
In Bozeman, Gabby Crevitt, MTN News.
Gabby tells us Gallatin County has daytime and evening tours of the Law and Justice Center. Next tour takes place on Monday, October 7th at 10 o'clock in the morning. I'll just remind folks that the building was built to be a school.
That's
it was
right.
never meant to be what it has been doing for decades.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, it suffered through a fire back in the early 90s as well, so it's had its ups and downs. Matt, like our temperature. I was going to say, see how I got there?
Right now we're on the downside. Right at this point in the morning, we've got anywhere from teens in West Yellowstone to 41 in Livingston. Most of us are in between, sitting into the mid-20s, 25 degrees in Butte, 26 in Bozeman. Mainly clear skies, allowing the temperatures to cool off. I think that we'll see some clouds building as you head later today. Overall, we're talking dry conditions today, but more rain and maybe some snow in the forecast as you get into your Friday. We're going to break that down, of course, in just a few minutes.
Feeling it, are you? We'll see what happens. 6:33 now, shifting gears just a bit. This fall, student athletes across the state are playing football on a type of synthetic grass. But there are growing concerns and questions about the safety of that turf. That turf installed by a company called Field Turf. MTN's Andrea Lutz is checking on those claims here in Montana.
Field Turf is an impressive company installing synthetic grass on some of the most stunning and biggest stadiums in the country and in Montana. The Montana Grizzlies play on it, so do the Montana State Bobcats, as well as various Montana high school athletes. Still, for nearly a decade, defective turf was installed at hundreds of schools across the country. Tonight we learn which fields were installed in Montana, and perhaps the most alarming part, these schools never even knew about it.
It seems everywhere we turn, turf. It's a faster surface, cost-effective, easy to maintain. Grass has become a thing of the past. And in Billings, more turf coming soon to Amond Park. But we're learning Field Turf, the company slated to do the work, has a complicated past. As the football season gets underway across the country this fall, one high school in Las Vegas is facing uncertainty.
I saw a rise in concussions, and then I started seeing all this stuff just started unfolding like a puzzle that's been waiting to be played, and I don't think it's right that it took this long.
Burns and concussions from what school officials say is due to the field. Rancho High School had no idea it was made with defective fibers. It was 10 years ago Laurel High School became one of the first in Montana to install synthetic grass.
You don't have to cut the grass, you don't have to water the lawn.
It just so happens field turf also used defective fibers here too. And Laurel officials had no idea until MTN informed them.
You know, it surprises me actually a little bit, you know, because you look at our field, you know, with the naked eye, and it looks like it's still in halfway decent shape. We think we've taken care of it, but yeah, if there was issues and nobody's ever contacted us about it, then you wonder.
Roger Heimbinger is activities director, and together we took a look at Laurel's fields.
Unless there's a rip or something, it pretty much takes care of itself. It's supposed to anyway. Whatever we can do to keep our kids safe, you know, we would certainly want to know that the field that we're playing on is a safe field.
A federal lawsuit filed in 2017 claims Field Turf installed hundreds of defective fields across the country. In 2014, Field Turf settled a lawsuit it brought against the supplier of fibers that were alleged to have been defective. A spokesperson for the company responded to our request for comment with an emailed statement saying the issue has not impacted safety, but only how the field looks as it wears. The company also said that state and federal investigations regarding the defective fields were closed without finding any wrongdoing. But Laurel isn't the only Montana school kept in the dark about field turf. At Bobcat Stadium, home to Montana's largest university, field turf was installed for the first time in 2008 with defective fibers. Bobcat Athletics also say they had no idea. The field was resurfaced again in 2017 because it was wearing out. So when a $1.5 million contract to install field turf at Amen Park in Billings was most recently approved, naturally, we had some questions. I told Billings City Administrator Chris Kukulski about the legal action against field turf. He says he's confident in the product Billings is getting, pointing back to that lawsuit Field Turf filed against its supplier.
The fact that the product today is not the product that it was they were having the issues with, I think is a factor, and so it gives me some level of comfort that you know, some of the largest universities, football programs in the country are using it at Alabama, Notre Dame, NFL teams. So what would our primary concern be from its longevity is what kind of warranty does it come with? And is that warranty something that they're going to stand behind?
But when it comes to warranty, that's yet another complaint from schools like Rancho High School in Las Vegas.
They made us an offer to replace the entire field with the same defective material and honor a 1-year warranty. Or for like $175,000, we could have paid for an upgraded surface.
And while the field in Laurel seems to be holding up, Heimbinger is now questioning what kind of issues could be lurking within.
If my memory serves me right, they said the average life of a field would be about 14 years. And I don't know who the expert is in terms of what our field should look like and the condition of the deterioration, so I think it's something that we may have to look at.
And he's curious why no one from the company reached out about their defective product.
Yeah, I mean, I think the conversation needs to take place.
And I asked that spokesperson for Field Turf why the company never contacted both Montana State University and Laurel High School about those Duraspine fields that were made with defective fibers. He told me he couldn't comment on that beyond the statement already provided, again saying both fields have lasted beyond their 8-year warranty. For MTN Investigates, I'm Andrea Lutz.
6:39 now. Students were out in force Wednesday morning, Gallatin Gateway, for its annual Bike to School Day. This year, students, parents, and even a few four-legged friends braved a little light snow along 191 to bike or walk to class. Each October, students from all over the globe walk or ride their bikes to school to promote getting outside and getting some exercise. Gallatin County deputies controlled traffic to keep the kids safe as they made their way to school.
We have really nice bike and walking paths, so our kids walk and bike to school a lot. So today is just a day to celebrate that and a chance for our parents to walk to school. We provide breakfast for everyone and just a great day for our community.
Superintendent Kale says the Gallatin Gateway School uses the day to emphasize to their students the importance of kids and adults to get out and exercise at least 30 minutes every day. And of course, it's a great way to encourage bike safety and
those
that
paths,
way as well.
those paths along 191, there's a lot of traffic running through there.
Bet there is, and it's wonderful that those paths are there. Long time coming to get those built as well.
That's right. A little bit of snow, a lot of participation. So good job.
Thanks for providing the video for that. I know you were.
Thanks for my kids for walking.
Good stuff. That's great stuff.
Anyway,
6:40. We're going to see if it's Bike to Work Week day continues weather when we come back. But